Yeah, hello. Welcome again to another session for Zu Hause mit within the home delivery here at the Ars Electronica Center in our wonderful PubLab studio, as always. So thanks so much to the PubLab guys to give us the possibility to actually have this wonderful situation in presenting you today a very special artist. I would like to present to you Kike, Enrique Tomás. A very dear friend since quite some time that we actually know each other. You are a sound artist. You are actually based in Linz, so this is the main thing. This is why we are also here. Like, you are based in Linz since quite some time. You are Spanish, so you actually are born in Madrid. You're a sound artist. You now work at the University of Art and Design in Linz, together at department from Martin Kaltenbrunner. And but you do a lot of projects actually in the last year. The last one we actually experienced during the Ars Electronica Festival. So thank you very much, Kike, that you're here.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. Let's have a colorful interview.
Yeah, we'll have it. You know, I'm yellow and you are green already.
So we agreed on that. Yeah.
We started actually. Let's see if we can continue in a colorful way.
Yeah.
Kike, what did we see now in the first video that you brought us?
Yeah, it's one of the last performances I produced. I've been actually touring with this work, this concert, for 2-3 years already. It's called A Moment of Transition, and it's actually a product of my PhD. So it's a concert where I play with my instruments, these instruments that I activate with my hands. And the funny thing in this moment, it is shown in the Reina Sofia Museum in Madrid, in this famous museum where
Reina Sofia Museum
where
in Madrid.
The Picassos are, the Dalís, and so on.
You're in the collection.
Not me, of course. No, I'm not in the collection, not the work. But it is now there is a really interesting exhibition called Audiosfera, curated by Francisco Lopez, the also sound artist, and then he created the first, I think, a massive exhibition of sound art in this famous Reina Sofia Museum with something like 800 pieces of sound art. Between all these 800 pieces, also a moment of transition is there. And I'm really happy about that, so yeah.
So thank you very much that you also brought it here to us and that you actually showed it to us. Kike, it's very interesting to actually have a look into your biography, because you are also a professional guitar player, right?
I was.
How did everything start?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's a story of a lot of activities. Actually, I didn't start with music until I was something like 12. So in my family, actually, it was more about science and more about probably humanities but not really about music. But suddenly one day I went to my parents and said, I really want to learn some music, and maybe, guitar is for me. And then I started to learn, and I was good at it. And then I studied the classical guitar degree, and well, it was really great and basic for my posterior, work. Yeah.
So you were at the conservatory there.
Absolutely.
You did this kind of classical guitar. After school and after the gymnasium, let's say, and the high school, you then went to the university for.
Because also it was clear to me that I wanted to learn about technology. That music, it was important, but I always thought that it was important to have a very polyedric education. So that on the one hand, I was doing music, but on the other, I needed to learn about science and education, but also I was dealing already with arts.
And the department where you studied
Yeah.
was the department for
Telecommunications.
telecommunications.
Yeah.
So you actually are at the conservatorium,
Yeah.
but at the same time you were also studying at the university, at the telecommunications department of the scientific university, actually.
Yeah, yeah. So it was fun. It was really busy, but
I can imagine.
No, yeah. But basically, I was going in the morning to classes in the university, and then at 3, really running to the conservatory, and then spending there some hours, and then in the night until every day, surely 1 or 2, doing assignments and for both music and telecommunications, and it was really crazy. But I have to say that also it was funny, and somehow I was dealing with both, and yeah.
And then you did even composition.
Yeah, I didn't finish the degree of composition. I wanted to study composition in Madrid, and then I did a couple of years, but at the end I was not really happy with the system there, how it was developed. So, but yeah, I was also doing it because I thought that, I would actually understand better all the dimensions of music from the compositional point of view. And this is actually what I did later, working more as a composer, sound artist, electroacoustic music also, than classical guitar, which I love that, but it's
and
really
classical
difficult.
guitar you finished actually, so you finished even the professional level. So you started composition even right afterwards, right?
Yeah, that was the plan. And yeah, it was really intense those years, but I have to say that also I was having fun during the weekends, and no, I cannot complain. It was really great. Yeah.
So you are a wonderful example between art and actually sciences, because you actually really studied also both. Yeah, you are trained as a professional guitar player. You did 3 years out of 5 years of composition, and you were at the scientific university and on the Department of Telecommunication, all at the same time.
Yeah, and see, I mean, later I did a doctorate, a PhD in arts. So that was the funny thing. That I think that there was this corner still pending. I said, now I should go to the arts, no? Although I was already busy with the arts, right before,
Your time in Madrid, it was also a very special time. I mean, you were born in the beginning of the 80s, 1981. In the 90s in Madrid, I think it was a very vivid time, and a time where a lot of things happened. We got to know each other a little bit later, but can you tell us about the first time, so after being a professional guitar player and studying at university, what happened then afterwards?
Well, Madrid was, I think it still is, no? But maybe it's like some phases are a little bit consuming themselves, no? But these years were really flourishing in hack labs, for example. There were so many hack labs, and so many people from Europe were visiting Madrid and Barcelona because of the Labo projects. I don't know if you remember these hack labs, these huge meetings of hackers happening in Linz, for example, the Labo 5. And that was really, a sentiment that many people in Spain had, like working with technology and creativity. And that was really present those days, no? So I remember a lot of people from those hack labs and initiatives, which were really, really amazing. But in these years, of course, I was more into actually thinking about music and arts, not only the activism through technology. I was really not into technology as an applied art or something like that. So we were, for example, playing in the streets, we were doing interventions in the streets, we were doing a lot of activities, performance, art, etc. And that was really, really basic, that was really flourishing in people making spontaneous art everywhere. And I think that's the great thing of being young, having the possibility of expressing in a community what you are doing. No?
And you told me that you have been named the engineer of the lost time or lost time.
Or another one, yeah.
Yeah, another one, like.
Yeah. No, but yeah, I told you that because this is well, I told you that I was really in attending a lot of workshops and lessons by Fluxus artist, performance artist called Esther Ferrer, which was really one of the keystones in my life, meeting her and learning about art directly with a huge artist. His, image to me is like, I don't know, like a huge person. And basically, I was attending her workshops. And the first time you attend the class, usually you introduce yourself, and they were all artists or fine art students. And then I said, well, I'm a telecommunications engineer. And they were all laughing. What are you doing here? I mean, this guy's going to be the nerd, and he's going to be the, and then, but said, okay, yeah, but I'm really interested in what you do. And then she used this, way of describing me, the engineer of lost time, because this is how Marcel Duchamp described himself, like the engineer of the lost time, which is actually a long story about how Marcel Duchamp in his actions and his work actually was dealing with this time that is not actually the engineering time, the efficient time for working, but the other one, when you actually don't do much, you are just procrastinating or doing things without any intention. No? And these both things actually were really, I mean, he was pushing me actually with that sentence to do better works. And I have to say that I remember those years really as one of the best moments in my life still. No?
Yeah, and then, so you turned 23, so you finished the university or engineering, the engineering department, you finished the time as a student there, you got your certificate. You were a trained guitar player, and you decided to close the composition education. What did you do then? I think there's something very special happened, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's a bit critical maybe, but they offered me to be a researcher and lead a small group in the Center for Research and Innovation of the Spanish Army. And this was in a military base, and then I said, well, what is this about? And it was great because it was a lot of money, it was really a great opportunity, it was really science and research. But I don't know, I was not really, I mean, it's like imagine myself with the colonel there coming to me and asking me, with, all the military, like, and me with my,
Mr. Tomás.
Yeah, like do this, and yeah, and it was, I mean, at the end it was nice. We were not killing people or anything. It was just science. But yeah, at the end, many things were interleaving my life. Also, the stories of working with Media Lab and with other artists and developing the first works. So after, I don't know, 1.5 years, I said, come on, I have an absurd amount of money in my account for being 23 or 24, and I just quit. I'm going to do something else. No? Yeah.
And this was the time where we actually got to know each other.
Yeah.
At Media Lab Madrid. At that time, it was called Media Lab Madrid. I think it was 2004.
Yeah.
And it was the time when actually Austria was the guest country at the ARCO. And Austria was also invited, so the ZKM did an exhibition at the Media Lab, Ars Electronica did also an exhibition at the Media Lab. We did a conference at ARCO, which is one of the very important art fairs in Spain, or the most important art fair actually in Spain. So this was the time where you were actually already working at the Media Lab Madrid when we got to know each other, and when Ars Electronica did this Ars Electronica Expo, this big exhibition there.
Yeah, that was so great. I mean, I came from this job with a lot of money. I went to work for Media Lab for almost no money, almost losing money for putting cables, but I wanted to be there. So to say, So for example, I remember the first time I met Krista Sommerer. Yeah. Now it's, it's kind of also my boss in the university. And I was just, under the table, Krista, tell me if this is correct or not. And Krista, yeah, no, yeah, this, that. No. And we had so much fun in that moment, and we are always remembering how we actually first met and so on. No? And yeah, and it was a moment of Media Lab was really a hub for many people, not only in Spain, but I think in whole Europe. Like they were coming so many people there for working, making productions, and it was just a dream being there. And I slowly, got to know the people, and also, for example, we were doing these workshops with Arduino, the first Arduino workshops.
Yeah, you prepared also the photos for this, so we can see also the images that you brought with you.
Yeah, this funny.
It was one of the first workshops of Arduino, because David Quartilich was there actually doing it, and we had the chance to observe how Arduino was somehow born, right?
Yeah, so basically the first day you had the PCB, the platine, the board of the Arduino, and we had to solder it. You know, Arduino, we had to solder that. The second day was basically, okay, it works more or less, yeah, how you program it, and third, yeah, do something. And these photos maybe we have seen, is the third day I started to connect some sensors and also to connect it with music. And I remember Gerfried, or maybe you two passing by, and also Karin Orleslava, explaining what that was, and it was really crazy. We were a bunch of people there just having fun in the workshop, and later, we almost were not sleeping those nights. We were only having fun in the night. And this is why so many connections and so many things that actually happened.
Yeah. And then also Interactivos?
Yeah, so Interactivos was a spin-off of these workshops in Media Lab. And somehow we thought that it was really great to continue this energy towards opening the tools that we had and the possibilities in an open source way, in a really democratic way, in a collaborative way. This is actually the main mentality, so to say, of Interactivos. And I remember, like in my apartment with David Quartiles, registering the Interactivos domain, and okay, let's do, because tomorrow we have to go to Helsinki for a concert and blah. So it was really all a mess, but it was super great at the same time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this is really, I think, a very special time, that, Media Lab, as it was called, is now Media Lab Prado, yeah? And it was also a difficult time because it had to change, so Media Lab then actually was not existing anymore, but Interactivos was just like starting and had a lot of interests actually from the community, but not only the Spanish community, actually international community. So, and this is still existing. So Interactivos is something that is very important actually.
Yeah, actually what happened when I came to Linz in 2008 in August for working in Future Lab, I opened the door of Future Lab. They said, okay, this is your desk, and then I looked around, and it's like from 10 people around, I met already, years ago, 8 in Media Lab. So we were actually having fun drinking beer and doing art together. Much of the people who were around me in Future Lab. So that was actually something was happening there, and now these people are here in Linz, and actually many things continued here afterwards in Linz, of course. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, but that was really, really interesting.
Your first work that has been presented at Ars Electronica Festival?
It was algorithmic echolocation. It was a production between ZKM and Media Lab Madrid, and then they started without me. And then after a year, they needed a person to develop the sonic part. And actually, they were asking in Madrid who can do some interactive music and blah, blah. And I said, okay, there is a new guy doing things, Enrique. And they called me, and then this is why I went to work with Ramon Guardans and ZKM and Media Lab. And then they started to know me. This is why I also started to work later for them. And we presented in 2005 algorithmic echolocation in the Ars Electronica Festival, which for me was like, come on. I'm really young, I have this work here, which I think is really still a huge work. And and many things also, started to begin and happen.
To evolve from it, because I think the year afterwards, in 2006, you were one of the main persons also of the former Electro Lobby. And Electro Lobby, we also have to tell our guests
That was a crazy idea.
and our audience.
It was a crazy idea.
It was Electro Lobby was really something special during Ars Electronica Festival. Can you somehow explain what was Electro Lobby?
Yeah, so basically David Quartilles told us in Media Lab, what if we bring a lot of people to Linz and then we make a huge workshop for how many people? For the more people we have or we can. And then this is what we did. We did an open call, and then we, in the Bruckner House, in the lobby of the Bruckner House, this is why this is the Electro Lobby, it was a huge workshop, a huge hackathon with hardware.
In 2006. So, I mean, there was some Electro Lobbies, but you speak about 2006, right?
Yeah. And then, I mean, the participants were sleeping in the Turnsaal of the Europa Schule next to it, and, you know, in these Red Cross mattresses, and, you know, it was just crazy. It worked really well. The energies produced in Media Lab and in many other places really came to Linz, and it was just a blast of
Maybe
of
can I quickly say
networks.
something to our audiences? So even that Kike now mentioned that they were actually sleeping in a Turnsaal, yeah, which is really right, because it was a really big group. So it was one of the first hackathons, and we were actually really amazed by having such a big interest of people coming to us, and this is why it was really difficult to, normally during Ars Electronica, everything is booked, so that it's booked out, so you even cannot get a hotel room. So it was, we stand in front of this situation, how to solve it, where to bring our guests. So, and then it was the situation that we at least could offer a
but
place
I think
where,
out of context, this could sound really weird, but internally, it was such, you know, it was such a great idea. I mean, maybe, I mean, because it's the same idea of going to a big music festival where you sleep in tents and everything. So it was much more comfortable. So actually, it was not an issue.
It was really like a festival feeling then.
Yeah, and imagine also if you work with others the whole day, and also you are asleep in the same place. It was really great. It was not negative at all. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, so you already mentioned it, so Electro Lobby was then not the only thing you participated in Linz, you actually came then to the Ars Electronica Future Lab. Future Lab invited you to come and to realize some projects. Yeah,
so I was in this new, huge also, project for the new terminal of the airport in Vienna, Schwechat. So there I did an installation together with, or in collaboration actually, with Rupert Huber for 10 channels in the terminal. And then also I did some other works for the Linz 09, the cultural...
Linz Cultural Capital. In 2009.
And it was great, but then suddenly 1 week it happened that I received the new, one day after the other, that I've got 2 grants, support of 2 grants, one from Madrid, another one from Barcelona, with a lot of money actually each. And then I decided, well, this is a sign that maybe I have to develop my work outside of Feature Lab and develop my, you know, as a freelancer. So I had to go to Horst, to the director of Feature Lab, and say, well, I want to try. So I left.
And you also, I mean, you started your own artistic career then again, or restarted it, because during your time at the Future Lab, it was also difficult for you to work as an artist, really. So. And then also you got to know Martin Kaltenbrunner because of also his relation to Spain and Barcelona and the Reactable that got then the Golden Nike in 2008, I think. And what happened then?
Do you really want me to tell you all the tricky stories?
All the secrets, for sure.
No, basically I was an editor of the of a blog called Media Teletipos. It was really the blog of media arts and music, which was really more prominent those days. And then I attended the concert they gave because they won the Golden Nike. And then, well, the concert didn't go so well, so to say, you know? But I love the guys. I knew them personally somehow, and then I was writing that night after the concert, you know, just a resume of what happened and why I think that these projects, which are so great, actually should be defended in a better artistic way. You know? So actually, this article was read by some people and so on, also by the Reactable guys. No? And then a few days after, Martin wrote me an email, or I don't know if he called me or something, or he found me and said, we have to talk. And I said, oh my God, Martin is going to be super angry with me because of this article. I say, well, I don't know what to expect because, you know, he's quite direct and, you know, he's the samurai of human-computer interaction. So I said, okay, let's talk. And then he told me, well, thank you very much for your article, because actually it helped us to understand what happened, and actually we will talk internally about that. And I think it was quite honest and positive, so thank you. And since that moment, actually, Martin and I, without having any work to do together, actually we continue to talk and have a little bit of respect. So that was great. And later, more things like the PhD came together. No? Yeah. So I think that's also really interesting how the persons work. No? Yeah.
So you are now with at the department also from Martin Kaltenbrunner. Can you? We have actually also one video that we would like to show our audience. This is the video from the music theater in Linz, from Musiktheater, where you did an installation on the surface of the theater inside, right?
Yeah, so this project was actually another complicated project, because it is a long corridor, 30 meters, and then our idea, I mean, it was a commission by the theater to do something with this corridor, and our idea was converting it into a kind of membrane, but an interactive membrane where, you know, people could touch the wall. It's made of wooden panels. And then where you could interact with the so to say, the sonic memories of the city and of the theater. No? So basically, the wall has a system which detects where you are, and actually this sound follows you along the corridor, but you don't see any speaker. They are all inside of the wooden wall. Okay, so this project, which actually is I work together with Martin Kaltenbrunner, so we are both the authors. Yeah, it was an interesting work of how you can use actually open source technologies, open hardware technologies. It's all running open source and Raspberry Pi boards inside, and it was actually running for many years. And well, every day the Musiktheater, this opera house, they have visits of a lot of people who they only want to go there for visiting. For example, the other artworks that Ars Electronica did for them. No? They have a lobby with a lot of things to see and hear. And yeah, it was always very present there. And they were always telling us that it was one of the places where the pensionists, for example, were spending some moments there, listening to the sounds and interacting. And it was really one of these things that you produce and say, wow, this one was really good. No? Yeah.
And now the research projects that you now worked, the peak funded project actually, can you tell us what you research on in the moment?
Yeah, so now I'm affiliated to the Tangible Music Lab as a postdoc researcher. And there our department does research on, the tangible aspects of music. That means that we don't develop, mostly we develop instruments and systems, but we look forward to create very material and tangible things. So for example, we don't create virtual systems that you see with a headset or are based on screens. We create things with a lot of materiality. So after doing my thesis, I proposed the idea of continuing my research with a postdoc. And then I made an application to the National Funds of Artistic Research, the FBF, through the program PEAK. And I was so happy to get the opportunity to get one of these postdocs for 3 years. And then I was actually developing a new paradigm for the creation of musical instruments in collaboration also with Teuvin. in which, well, it's a complicated thing, but basically we were incorporating aspects of music cognition, how we actually simulate movement when we hear specific sound gestures, and how can these aspects of simulation, internal simulation and rendering that we create actually can be incorporated to design, so to say.
So you develop the devices, you're programming everything behind, so when it comes to hardware, when it comes to software, when it comes to the sound, to the composition, to this is everything that is done by you, yeah? But you're also working as a curator, right?
Yeah, well, this project, first of all, of course, we have our collaborators in the university, in the TU Wien. So first of all, Thomas Gorbach and Hilda Teglioglu in the Faculty of Informatics. And well, I was mostly doing the hardware and also, well, parts of the design. And my colleague Thomas Gorbach, actually, he devised many ways to develop musically these instruments, and he brought a lot of knowledge also, like actually artistic knowledge to the project. No? So actually, this was also a great thing, no? When you can work with other people and you engage really well. No? But your question was about...
No, the form, as on the one hand, this gives me immediately the point also to the collaboration. So you are a person of collaborations and you do also curating. This brings me now to the latest project that we actually also did together, which was the sound campus in the White. I mean, you did the sound campus in the White State, but maybe you can also quickly mention what you did there.
Yeah, it was another crazy idea. Sometimes, we just
you do a lot of crazy things.
Because we had this issue of Corona, you remember, and then we wanted to do a festival.
This is actually why Zuhause mit exists.
And then so we were going to make a festival, or a university part of the festival, right? For Ars Electronica festival. And then there should be some part of music and sound. So, okay, Kike, do that. Okay, yeah, I will do that. It's great. But then the pandemic situation came to all of us, of course. And then we thought, okay, what should we do? Another festival which happens on YouTube or other video channels. I said, okay, actually we should actually develop it more, no? Because we're in the university, and also we think that we have that responsibility. So my idea, it was like, okay, let's create a 3D world where we can do the festival. And that was really crazy because we said, okay, we can do it, yes. Okay, let's take a few projects and, an auditorium, virtual auditorium, and then we make the concerts. And then we incorporate really 3D developments where the artists can really work with the medium. But the thing went a little bit out of control. We couldn't select only 8 projects, so we selected more than 30 because they were so great and the people were so great and sympathetic that we said, okay, we incorporate you all. And and we were working the whole summer for creating this metaverse, which happened in a replica of a Titanic, and you were, running around in the boat as a teddy bear, listening to sounds in multi-channel format. So it was really great. At the same time, we had the concerts in Linz that we were also transmitting through the metaverse and through other video channels, but mostly through the metaverse. And it was a crazy development. We are so happy that many people actually took part of this, like Daniel Romero, who did the most part of the basic infrastructure for making this so great. And well, it was a great thing. It engaged, I think, with the other parts that other curators like you also proposed for this festival. And we had fun. I think it was also fun,
Yeah, it was really something that we always have to mention. It was very short-term project because of the situation. So what you did in this kind of 2 months was really outstanding. And then having the metaverse also as a VR, as an environment in the virtual world where you could even see it and the performances there and experience it in the virtual.
You know what happened also, that we had a channel in Discord, which is this kind of system where video gamers meet for talking when they are playing, and then we had the same relationship with the artist. So they were entering there, and then we were chatting and talking, and it was, it was a parallel world of conversations.
So how to perform and how the stage looks like and how the presentation looks like, even though it's just a constructed reality. Yeah, of course.
So it was really great. Yeah.
What is the next? What are you heading? Where are you heading to?
Well, now I'm finishing this postdoc, and well, in the academic world, we are facing also some possibilities for developing projects and also academic challenges. But on the other hand, I'm now thinking on a few new works. I'm thinking to develop something related to a big neuronal system, artificial neuronal system, but where humans actually are the neurons. Let's see. So I'm working on something very tangible about neural systems. Let's see what comes out. But I'm trying to develop a work on that.
We will
domain.
be in contact because you will stay in Linz. You have now your wonderful and lovely family also here in Linz. So you will not leave so quickly, right? So
hopefully, yeah.
You will stay and will contribute all your ideas and thoughts into this, into our community also here, and we share everything internationally. So this is what we do. I have a last question, like always. Like, what is home? What does home mean for you as a?
Well, I know. I mean, home. It's a huge question. I mean, it's or really. Even not so huge. I mean, it could be even a question that IKEA proposes, something like that. But
I think it is. IKEA is even proposing.
Like it's when you told me, it's like, what is home? It's like a little bit. It's not this campaign of IKEA. But at the same time, I don't know. I had different feelings about home. So on the one hand, I had this impression years ago that home was like Rilke said, no, it was the childhood. That home is where you happened or your childhood happened, etc. But actually now when I come to Madrid, I don't feel myself 100% at home. I still then connected and I love it and my family is there and etc. But you see that it's not anymore. It's like, come on, because there are things changing there and you have not lived them. So this is really interesting. And home, I don't know, home is where, you feel a little bit at home. But I would say that this could be quite political if you say that this is this or is not that. So I would prefer to carry home like a Schnecke on top of the things that we make and do and the people that we meet like you. And I think that would be a little bit
So you always
home.
have your home with you.
Yeah, I mean, but this is the great thing that maybe sometimes Schnecken, like the snails, cannot open the home to others. But we are able to open our homes to people who we really like to. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Kike. Thank you very much for coming and for sharing everything and your biography and the works with us.
Yeah.
And thank you very much also for participating again. And we will. I know you brought something. This is what you mentioned. Sorry,
okay.
I totally.
No. Okay. Yeah. We kept it as a surprise. No. You asked me to bring something for your beautiful set.
Actually, we're starting now to pimp up our Pep Lab.
Okay.
Pimp up the Pep Lab.
Yeah.
And this is why we started to ask our guests to. Maybe bring us a small souvenir from their home.
So I brought you this.
Okay.
I don't know if you know what that is.
From the piano.
It's a clavier,
From the klavierhammer.
Yeah.
A hammer from the piano.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
And this is this has a lot of significance actually.
Oh, if you turn it around, it's a leg, and it's a foot.
Yeah. Well, you can use it at many places.
Oh.
Yeah. And actually, the thing is that, a piano, the keyboard, without a hammer, is actually, quite mute. No? So I think this is actually the point, no? Like we should really go to the point and, trigger the string, and things like this are really important. No? So, I just leave you this reflection.
Kike, we need the tools. These are the tools that you create, that everybody is creating. So we need the tools in order then that something can sound very nicely.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kike. Yeah, and hopefully, so wishing you the best for your next steps and for our steps that we are also doing together, and also what you will do together with the university and with Ars Electronica, and hoping to see you again next time. Ciao, ciao. Ciao, ciao.